Halloween! It is Halloween today. I'm gonna flip my ghostie inside out and make him an angry ghost, because even this face is really cute. It's very fitting for Halloween, which, as I said, is today. And today is going to be a cozy, relaxing, Halloween at home kind of a day. I really enjoyed looking back on my Halloween vlog from previous years to see what I did that day and just get those vibes again. So I really want to do that again today so that I can document this cozy Halloween day at home and also talk about the books that I'm reading. I'm going to be reading Fangs again by Sarah Andersen. I think that this has to just be a Halloween ritual for me. It is a set of comics and they're all about a werewolf and a vampire falling in love and their relationship. And it is so cute and so funny. It's so funny to see the scenarios and the hijinks that a werewolf and a vampire get up to together in a relationship. This one is questionable if I'm gonna be able to finish it today, but I really wanna try because I just, for some reason, have not been able to stop looking at this on my shelf. It is These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. Okay, I say for some reason. You can probably guess why. Look at that cover. This one is about a mother and a daughter who left their family home, this huge manor, and she doesn't really know why. Then her grandfather dies and leaves the inheritance to them. The only condition is that they have to live here for a whole year. If they don't, they get nothing. And of course, it's not that simple as just staying in the house for a year. There is definitely some strange and spooky things afoot. On the back, it says the bid for her family's inheritance will leave Helen Vaughn either rich or dead. It's all very intriguing because it mentions that the house feels like a labyrinth and that she's getting sick and that there are strange occurrences happening. And I just think that this would be perfect for Halloween. I love books that take place in hotels or manors or anything that feels like it's its own character in and of itself. It also has the feeling to me of Knives Out, which is one of my favorite movies. I just recently watched it and it was so amazing to rewatch again. The inheritance, the angry family, the mystery, it's interesting. I don't know why. So this has an inheritance too. I'm curious if they're gonna have to deal with the family being mad that they got the inheritance, or if it's more focused on the fact that they don't know what's going on in this house. And maybe the rest of the family is glad that they didn't get it. Maybe they know what's going on in the house. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So I'm really excited to read this. I think that this will be a great atmosphere for Halloween. So those are the books that I plan on reading today. I don't think I'm gonna be watching that many things other than It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I'm gonna try making my own pumpkin spice latte at home. For some reason this year at Starbucks, I just feel like I've been let down. I don't feel like the pumpkin spice lattes have been very good, and I don't know why, but I really have been still craving that pumpkin spice latte flavor. So I am gonna try making one myself. I just realized I've got my dress on of the Haunted Mansion wallpaper. It's obviously upside down. And look what's peeking at me. My pillow of the Haunted Mansion wallpaper. Do you think she has a type? I think I do. This is the best. It's the best. I included a couple of panels so that you could see the kind of humor that it is, and hopefully read it. Oh my gosh. I just think the amount of skill that it takes to create a single page scenario that is a whole punchline, a whole joke in and of itself. And then Sarah Andersen creates the art for it as well, which is so cute and such beautiful art. So like, it has everything. Vampires, werewolves, paranormal humor, continuous page after page of punchline jokes that make you laugh out loud. It's both wholesome and sometimes spicy and hilarious and dark. Like, it has it all, but it's lighthearted. This is completely lighthearted. It's not dark as in a horror. Now I'm gonna start These Fleeting Shadows. I have such a good atmosphere for this today. It is so dark and gloomy, and it's supposed to rain, and I just honestly feel like that matches this and Halloween in general. So it is a bummer that it's so dark. I have my lights on during the day because it is just so dark out, but it is what it is. It actually does add to the ambiance, and I am excited to see what this is about, and I will check back in when I know more, because as of now, I am not positive what this is about. I'm a little worried because I got this in the YA section, and I don't tend to enjoy YA as much, but for some reason, I kept putting off buying this, but I guess it's probably the cover and the description of it being a spooky house and a mysterious inheritance that I just ended up, I just needed to read it. I needed it. I want to know what it's about, and today is the day. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining outside. I'm out on the balcony and the leaves keep falling off of the trees. So it's so peaceful to listen to the rain and see the leaves falling in the background. Autumn. Can't beat it. I am loving this. Honestly, I am so glad I chose this book to read on Halloween. It's definitely giving me the exact atmosphere that I was looking for. Another book that this is really reminding me of is Horrid by Katrina Leno. That book has a very similar setup and atmosphere of a mother and a daughter going into this big old house and then unexplained things happening. And there is definitely the theme of not knowing if she's dreaming or awake. It seems like she's awake, but she keeps questioning it a lot herself. Except with this main character, Helen, she is actually really used to strange things happening. There's something that happened when she was younger and we don't know what it is, and she and her mom don't know what it is either. It was the reason why they originally left Harrow House. They left and they can't quite remember why, but they know that something had happened, and it has either made, or Helen has always been very susceptible or able to see things that she really shouldn't be able to see, that might not be there. There are always these strange occurrences that follow her around, and because of that, she has no friends and they do need to move frequently. That has created a difficult life for her, but something that makes me so happy, like I love reading about this, is that the mom and stepdad and her are all incredibly close. They're honest with each other. The stepdad is this like puppy dog kind of sweetheart guy, but he will defend them, and he is exactly what they need in their family. And Helen and her mom have a good relationship as well. I really enjoy that aspect. Besides horrid, I also think that if you are a fan of the show The Haunting of Hill House, this is something that you might want to look into. It's not so far as horrifying. It is just strange occurrence after another, one after another after another. And I'm really glad, like, it's not holding back. You don't have to wait for half the book for strange things to be happening. And I know I had mentioned Knives Out earlier because it is about an inheritance. As I had said, Helen was told that she gets to inherit the house and a huge amount of his money if they can stay at this house for a year. She cannot leave at all. And at the end of the year, she has to see if the house will accept her as its mistress. There is a lot of history with this house. It is made very much like a labyrinth. There are all of these rules and a lot of eeriness, and everyone is aware of it, at least. So it's not like you think, oh, one person, are they imagining it? No, everyone's aware that there are strange things that go on in this house. However, that doesn't mean that the whole family is okay with the fact that this was left to Helen. So I want to make a homemade pumpkin spice latte, and I have a wooden sign decoration thing in my kitchen, and it is a recipe for pumpkin spice latte. So I figured I need to try to make it homemade then. So we're gonna try that, and hopefully it'll taste better than the ones I've gotten so far this year. And I made a mess. Surprise, surprise to no one. All right. I cannot try it without a little bit on top. So many good Halloween mugs. I can never pick, but felt like a witchy day. So let's clean up this mess first. This is the stuff that most people edit out, but I'm not going to, because you know what? I bet y'all can relate. That's reality. Hey, I'm back in my living room because there is just darkness everywhere else in the apartment because of how gloomy it is. So let's try it. Okay, that's much better. That's better. Yeah. What has happened to me? I could feel like this could even be more pumpkin-y. Am I okay? I used to hate pumpkin and now I just feel like nothing is a strong enough pumpkin flavor. So the good thing is when I make this, I can just like add another tablespoon of pumpkin puree, or maybe like half a tablespoon. We can like ease our way up. I think it's good. It's not too, there's not too much spice to it. I know we did add the pumpkin spice, but I could even use more spice if I'm being honest. I think though that this is a nice mellow one because we added the vanilla extract. Wow, this is actually pretty darn good. It's better than what I would pay for. So I'm gonna keep doing this. Yay, success. Now that I've had more, I agree with my initial statements. Next time I would add more pumpkin and more spice. I just clearly like pumpkin and spice. I also have apple cider for later from the pumpkin patch and apple orchard nearby. Fresh apple cider from the orchard is just unbeatable. It is so fresh and crisp and delicious. As the family begins to file out of the house and leave Helen there for a year to stay, as she's exploring everything, she's finding out just how much of a labyrinth it really is. But I did want to read this passage here. It would have been tempting to call the house random or mad or jumbled, but it wasn't. It was precise in its confusion, careful as clockwork. The whole house felt like a machine, but what purpose it had, I couldn't say. One thing I realized though is that I don't quite feel scared. And I think it's because Helen is used to seeing things that she should not be able to see. And so for her, even though there are moments of fear and she gets freaked out and she isn't sure what's real and what's not real, for some reason I don't feel like that visceral sense of fear. And it doesn't make the book any less fascinating and any less eerie and creepy, but so far anyway, I wouldn't really describe it as outright horror. Like nothing horrifying has happened so far to anybody. I say so far, but I think that that might be the cause of it. Maybe because Helen's used to seeing stuff that is unexplained. Whereas if you have a main character who has never experienced the paranormal or has no idea what's going on, then it's obviously a lot more terrifying and jarring for them and you as the reader following along. Still great though. That's not a commentary on how awesome it is, because it is awesome so far. It's just, I'm not afraid. I am enthralled and fascinated by the environment as well, and the eeriness and creepiness of everything that's going on. Look at how cute Isabel is with her little witch hat. Oh, what a cutie pie. Which Jack is the true Jack? Oh gosh, what is he doing in the background? What the world? He has a... Oh. Okay, well. I was just trying to show how I'm wearing Jack's costume for Halloween and happened to catch some wild inner entertaining activities going on in the background. Happy Halloween, Animal Crossing style. I was all excited about the mom and stepdad and how it would be a nice little family going through this all together. But it doesn't look like that's what it's gonna be like so far. At least like a third of the way in. The mom and stepdad are mostly not as much in it. However, there is another character, and I'm wondering if this is gonna be sapphic. Like, I have no reason to say that nothing has happened, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I don't really think that that's a spoiler. That's just called good representation. But honestly, like, if it does and something happens with this new character and this relationship ever blossoms into anything, that actually might even be better. So we will have to see. Again, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but representation is important and it matters, and that would be a pleasant surprise if that's going to end up being the case. So I'm not too mad about it at all, about the mom and dad not being as big of a part, but I don't know. I kind of thought that would have been nice too, but either way, I'm interested to see where it's going. Yep. It's getting real creepy. I had said that it wasn't so much horror just yet. Yep, giving me real Haunting of Hill House vibes. There are some things that you have to contend with in this house, or that live in the house, or I don't know what it is, but I would not want to see them. So yeah, it does get a little creepy. That scene really, like, my eyes were huge and I was like this the whole time.
I'm actually quite excited.
It's a real waiting game for this kind of stuff. We could be out here all night and not spot anything. It's just how it goes.
Okay. Are you ready?
It is no longer Halloween. I switched to autumn decor. Halloween is over, but I did not want to wrap up this vlog without reviewing These Fleeting Shadows, because this is what I read mostly on Halloween. I just needed to finish it because I don't know why I thought I could read such a, well, to me, over 300 and something pages, plus a like comic, plus do all of the movies and things that I was doing on Halloween. So we are here to talk about These Fleeting Shadows. I will insert this video of what the leaves look like now, because I call it an autumn wonderland because of all the leaves and autumn. I call it autumn snow because the leaves just are so piled up that they look like snow, and it's so beautiful. I did wear my Coraline sweater. This is a sweater Coraline wears in the movie. I love it. So I'll give you a little bit of spooky vibes still. And talk about this spooky book. So These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. I have finished it and I really liked it. It was such a good book. I didn't need to worry about it being YA. It was just still a great ride. It was a great time, if you can call horror a great time, because I would call this horror. It is horror, and also it is a mystery. There is the mystery involved of the whole concept of what is going on with Harrow Manor. What has her family gotten into with all of this? Why has she been given the inheritance if she stays in the house for a year? What is going on with the house? Why has she been able to always see things and experience things that others don't? There are so many mysteries in this, and you're following the journey that the characters are taking in trying to unravel this mystery. I always like to read author's notes, and at the end of this one, I just would like to shout it out because it just helps you understand their inspiration and where the story came from. And for her, she had been inspired by Arthur Machen's 1894 novella called The Great God Pan. And I'm not going to say what the novella is about because she very much used that inspiration, and you're not supposed to know what it's about yet. A lot of times when I review a book, I would want to give like hooks and taglines and ideas of what the book is about so that you can see if that's a subject or a social commentary that you're interested in. But honestly, in this case, if you want those, Goodreads has them. But I think that it's more of an enjoyable read to be clueless with Helen. Helen has no idea what's going on. Her mom doesn't even know or remember from her living in Harrow House, and you get to figure it out with them. She doesn't know who to trust. She doesn't know if she can trust her family. There is a witch that has always been on the grounds of this house, and she doesn't know if she can trust her. She doesn't know what is going on at all. And that is the brilliance of experiencing this book, is following Helen and this journey of, I have to stay at this horrifying, creepy house with all of these things happening. And I have to, because she needs to know what is going on with her. It's such a journey. And I will say, even though it is YA, this has got a lot of things that happen in the horror genre. And it has this sense of disorientation because the architect of the house wanted to make it somewhat of a labyrinth, but not a labyrinth as in a maze per se, but as in there were hallways, doorways, all of these things in the house that are just slightly off. Like he was playing with dimensions, he was playing with things and repetition to try to almost like lull you into a sense of comfort and then confuse you because wait, I don't remember that being here. And so the house just feels so daunting and unsettling, and that's the intent of the house, is to almost feel daunting and unsettling. It's very clear that there is a family history that is not good and not honest, and there are a lot of things to be said in this book, and I have to say this was such a wild ride. And I just feel like so often I have unsatisfying endings, particularly in horror and like paranormal horror books, but in this one I thought that this was such a good ending. I thought it was fascinating. I really enjoyed where it went, and I liked what they did with the reveals. Does that make sense? I don't know how to say this without saying it. I liked all of these little things brought together in a satisfying way to me. I thought it was satisfying. I'm popping in really quick because there's a few things I remembered that I wanted to add, and that is how constant the occurrences in the house and on the grounds were happening. Another really popular haunted hotel house type story is The Shining by Stephen King, right? And in that one, I reread it as an adult and realized that even though it has a great buildup and there are a lot of intense things that happen, it's quite slow and it's very staggered between when they do happen. Not this book. In this book, I feel like every chapter, boom, 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 something is happening. And it ranges in how terrifying it is, or just how creepy or eerie or just unsettling or confusing it is. But that is an aspect of this book that I enjoyed, is that each chapter I knew that I was in for something new, whether it be an occurrence in the house, an issue with a family member, a reveal, meeting and getting to know another character. There felt like there was a very decent pace in this book for me, my personal. I know a lot of people have different opinion on pacing, but for me, I enjoyed that it felt like there was always something to learn or always something to experience. So that was a really nice element that this book had. There was a quote that I wanted to read that I felt like encapsulated a good amount of this book. This is from the perspective of the main character, Helen. "I hate this place. I told the ceiling, for the record. Harrow's silence seethed with hatred of its own. I love that. It's true. I love the personification of these scary houses, as in they are their own character with their own feelings. And I feel like that is the epitome of this book. She hates the house, it hates her. They don't know what they're going to end up doing with each other. But for now, the experience is not enjoyable. Another quote that I really enjoyed was a character says, "in for a penny," which, if you've seen Knives Out, that is a Knives Out reference. I don't think the author put it in there for a Knives Out reference because that's just a very common thing, in for a penny, in for a pound. But it made me smile because I had seen Knives Out again recently, and this book feels like Knives Out as well, with the whole inheritance and family, and yeah. So anyway, those are just a couple things I wanted to share. I'm gonna go back to Previous Angela. If you are fans of the TV shows The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, give this book a try, because this has a lot of the same things of a dysfunctional family, a giant manor, and all of these unsettling, frankly, horror things happening in the house, and trying to piece together the mystery of why that this is happening in the house. Why is this happening to the family? Why is this happening to the main character, Helen? I also think if you really enjoy books about spooky houses, hotels, mansions, manors, all of that, man, this was a fantastic one, and it goes there. It goes there. I was surprised and unsure about it earlier, but yes, there is good representation in this book. So that was great. It is LGBT. So overall, I recommend this book if you like really immersive, atmospheric, haunted house books. Even though it's so much more than a haunted house, it's not just a haunted house book. There is a lot going on in this. It's actually a point that is said a lot in this book. There are no ghosts in Harrow House. So honestly, I read Fangs and I read These Fleeting Shadows for Halloween, and I thought that they were both great, atmospheric, and then funny reads for Halloween. I thought it was fantastic. How was your Halloween? Please let me know. I know that it's not Halloween anymore, but we can always use some spooky. November is a good time for spooky too. So, and until next time, I hope that your life is filled with good people and good books. Take care.